What's up YouTube, back with another video. Today I just want to talk about something that me and a few buddies were talking about earlier at work, and that's basically whether or not you change your own oil. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say I finally hit 100 subscribers. My goal was to hit it by the end of the month. I mean, by the end of the summer. It's barely July 5th at the time of this recording. So I just want to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed, and like I say in every other video, like the video right now. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You know, I don't want to just stay at 100. I want to eventually hit 1,000. I think my new goal will be hit 1,000 by the end of the year. I don't know how realistic that is, but it is what it is. But before we get into the video, we're gonna get a quick cold start. All right, we're in the car. Ooh, I almost crashed into my garage right there. I was in first, not in reverse. That kind of rocked. It should be a rapper. I hate my driveway, it's super steep. I almost scraped my lip almost every single time. Lower your car, beware. Okay, so the topic of the video is basically reasons why I personally don't change my own oil, and it's my cousin and my good friend at work were telling me basically that I should change my own oil. And actually, I'm gonna start with why I don't change my own oil. So the main reason is that if you don't keep track of all the receipts of all the oil that you bought, the filters, and had them like filed, put away correctly so you can prove to the next person who's trying to buy your car, at the very least it's gonna, you know, give them a little bit of concern or a little bit of worry on buying the car. So me personally, if I'm gonna go buy a used car, if it doesn't have any history of maintenance, any oil changes and things like that, I'm not gonna buy the car unless the owner, you know, like if he was like a car enthusiast who likes to change his own oil, if he kept all the receipts in the times that he changed it, and I can see that it was done in between like a timely matter. So if they were doing it every 5,000 miles, you know, I'm not too worried. But say I'm gonna go buy a $60,000 car. There's nothing on the Carfax that said that they were any maintenance, and they didn't provide any receipts or anything to prove to me that they were doing the oil changes, then I'm not gonna buy the car. You know, it's just kind of as simple as that. It's not worth it to take the risk. My friend has been really into flipping cars lately. He'll buy used cars and flip them for a higher price. He says that a lot of people don't care about like the maintenance history on the Carfax. And I can kind of understand on that point. If it's an older car, granted these cars are older, they're not anything like $30,000, $40,000 cars. They're probably like under $10,000. So I can kind of see that point. If it has over 80, 100,000 miles, you know, I'm not gonna worry about the maintenance history too much. But if I'm gonna spend $60,000 on a new car or a used car and it doesn't have the history, I'm not gonna buy the car. Another point that he made is that the person coming to look at your car to see if they want to buy it, they're not gonna decide on whether you have maintenance history to buy the car. It's more or less gonna be on test driving the car, how they like it and whatnot. But like I kind of just said earlier, if I'm gonna spend $60,000 on a car, I'm not gonna buy it if it doesn't have any maintenance history and the owner has no proof of, like, has no receipts or anything like that. Another point that he brought up, he said that you can kind of get an idea of how well the maintenance has been kept up if you take off the oil cap and if there's sludge built up or not. I'm assuming that if there's buildup, that means that it hasn't been changed that much. That's a point that I didn't think of and I never considered. He also said that there's a convenience factor when it comes to changing your own oil, because you can do it at the time that you want. You don't have to drop off your car in the middle of work or something like that, or take a day off to do that. You can just do it when you get home. And on top of that, he said that choose whatever kind of oil that you got. You don't have to just use whatever the mechanic or the shop has in stock for your vehicle. I think like 9 out of 10 times you're just gonna use what's recommended unless you pick a higher oil. But another thing for that, my experience of what I just did recently with this car is I just bought 10 quart, or it was actually a 12 quart case of AMS oil, and I took it to the shop along with the filter and I just gave them the oil and they replaced it. And of course, I checked the oil right after just to make sure they changed it. And something that he didn't mention, but I will kind of add to against myself, is that dropping your car off to a shop, there's always that risk that they're gonna take it out for a joyride or treat the car like it's not supposed to be. Obviously, if you own the car, you're gonna treat it the best that you can. You're gonna try to do the best job that you can. Not too long ago, I'm not gonna say which shop it was, but I did catch them taking my car out for a joyride. It had been maybe about an hour and a half. They didn't text me that the car was done, but I kind of just had a feeling. I knew the job was gonna be quick and simple, so I decided to head over there. And as I was pulling in, I saw them pulling out my car. And according to the shop, before an alignment, they take the car out to make sure that there's no pull or whatever in the steering wheel. And I understand that, but what they're not supposed to be doing is, like, they're not supposed to be doing a hard pull going over 70 miles an hour in a 45. And that's like one of the risks that you take taking your car out to the shop. So out of all these like points that he made, I think they're all very reasonable. And I think it's all really up to personal preference on the buyer if they choose to buy the car or not. But there are some points that people make that are just like silly, frankly. Like, I've seen comments on YouTube, and you know how toxic some of these comments can be. So they'll be saying like, oh, just change your own oil. Like, basically to be superior car enthusiast or to be macho or whatever. That's hella silly, honestly. Like, I've changed my oil on each car that I've had at least once, and that was simply, except this car actually, but that was simply just to know how to do it in case I couldn't go and take it to get done. And each and every time, you know, like, it's super simple, it's super easy. You can find videos on YouTube that how to teach you how to do it, and every single time I did not enjoy it. You know, I enjoy modifying my car. As stressful as it might be and as often as things break, I enjoy installing parts like lowering springs or any kind of suspension components, exhaust intakes and things like that. I even pulled out my intake manifold and replaced it with a ported one on my old 3.7. So like, I'm no stranger to working on the car, but if you don't like changing your own oil and you just feel like peer pressure to do it because that's what car enthusiasts do, like, you shouldn't do that. Just, you know, take it to a shop if you really don't want to do it. I think there's only a few reasonable reasons why you should, or not you should, but why you would want to change your own oil. One, if you can't afford it or to save money on it. Two, because you just genuinely like changing your own oil. Think to yourself deep down, do you genuinely enjoy it, or are you just doing it because of the peer pressure or whatever reason? Or three, because you're just worried that, like, kind of what happened to me, that the shop is gonna take advantage of you know, leaving your car there. Do a quick pull for you guys. Okay, so that was the discussion that I had today. Let me know down in the comments, do you change out your own oil? Why do you change out your own oil? And if you don't, let me know why you don't do it yourself. So that's gonna be it for the video. Like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, hopefully by January 1st, 2023. And if you can, it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And that's gonna be it. I'm out.
Bye.